gentlemen, it's my big pleasure to see you here in our pre-ICO store. We are looking for the most successful and highest rated ICO projects because we want to learn about them and deliver this information just for you so you can judge and you can understand for yourself how do you like these projects. So feel free to ask questions online. My name is Kirill Lutsenko, and today we're going to talk about decentralized cloud service optimized by artificial intelligence. Today, my guest is CEO of Iagon, Navjit Haliwal. Navjit, hi.
Hi, nice to be here, and nice to talk to everyone and explain our product and projects.
Thank you for joining us today. So let's start. Tell us more about Iagon and what this project is about, and what's the main idea behind of your project.
Yeah, so the main idea is that, actually, I'll just start with how the project came to fruition. First of all, I'm in the health industry, so first I started looking at this project in terms of securing health records. And we wanted to secure health records in a safe and secure manner because in 2015 there was a huge leak in NHS in the English health industry, where they had a lot of data leaks and a lot of patient files were leaked. And we wanted to make sure that we had a secure way of using that through blockchain technology. Why blockchain? Because I've been actually in the space since 2012. Learning about Bitcoin and other projects as well, doing market research. And I was very fascinated by the technology, and me doing more and more market research, I thought this was the best way to kind of implement security and not store directly on the blockchain itself, but through the blockchain using the hashes and storing the hashes on the blockchain to make patient files more secure. And what we did was we evolved the idea afterwards when I talked to more and more people, especially Dr. Elad Harrison, our current CEO and chief architect. And when the idea evolved from there, so he kind of told me, why are you just focusing on the healthcare industry? Why not make it a broader, more wider scope and focus on kind of everything in general and store data not just in health industry, but worldwide. And also, he also incorporated the AI onto the platform. Him having a machine learning background, he incorporated that onto the platform. And the idea developed, and we fine-tuned it. We did the market research comparatively to our competitors. And we are here now, where we're using a decentralized cloud service that's optimized by AI. The optimization by AI is the first in any cloud service, decentralized cloud service, I think, in the space in general. So that's the first kind of company that's doing that in terms of AI optimization. No other cloud computing, decentralized cloud computing service is doing that at this moment. And kind of we differentiate us, and we're kind of just, let's say, general. Let's say the overview of our project is we take harness storage and processing power from miners. So the miners can be anyone, personal person, a data storage center, or, for example, even a decentralized cloud storage platform like Iagon, Filecoin can become a supernode. Golem, for example, can be on the processing side. So we can incorporate different kind of solutions onto our network, and in turn, we kind of relay that to the users and the business's needs, depending on what their needs are. And also we have the processing side, which we kind of, we want to cater to the AI startups as well.
There is a lot of cloud services known already. And in the world, we know a lot of cloud services. So you have, as you say, you have a lot of competitors, or maybe some of them. What's the difference? Like the main difference, the global difference between you and them?
Well, there's two differences, because we have centralized cloud computing and then we have the decentralized cloud computing. So comparatively to centralized cloud computing, blockchain is, of course, more secure. It's more reliable, more uptime, because miners, if one miner is down, there's other miners that are available. If, for example, a centralized solution, one of the servers is down or one of the data centers is down, the whole system is down in that specific area. And AWS has been a big example of that. They've been down for 7 days a few times, and businesses lose millions of dollars. They can't afford to be down 7 days, and it takes a long time to fix. We solved that problem by being more reliable, because if one miner is not online, there's another one to uptake that, or another person to kind of take that load. And reliability is one. Also cost effectiveness, because of centralized solutions. They have their own servers, their own infrastructure. They require staff to run that infrastructure. That's a lot of expenses. And we don't have that infrastructure. We don't need that, because all of the community of the network is driven by the miners, and the miners build the system. So we don't require that staff to run that infrastructure. So we can cut costs up to 80%. So that's a big factor for some, let's say, medium-sized companies or SMEs, or any kind of, let's say, startup companies. That's a big factor for them, because they can save a lot of money in the beginning run, or the short term, also the long run. And that's kind of in terms of what we differentiate from the centralized storage platforms. In terms of decentralized platforms, as I said earlier, the AI is what differentiates us from them, because we optimize the grid. We learn the behavior of each node, each miner, in terms of different variables. We call it a proof of utilitarian, where we take into account the trustability, the uptime, and different other variables also that take into account one and give the miner a score. And based on that score, you're able to kind of allocate a certain amount of space for a higher tier service or a lower tier service. And of course, trustability, kind of availability, performance are kind of the key variables that we kind of implement there. And that's how we differentiate us, because the machine learning optimizes the kind of the user experience and the business experience. They give them the best possible solution for their needs.
If you're going right now in your website, it's www.iagon.com. So we're going to see the first of all, it's going to be the pre-sale right now. And you already raised $3,700,000 in your pre-sale. Tell us more about your soft cap and about your hard cap. How do you want to realize money?
Yeah, so we have we started up pre-sale on May 27th. Through pre-sale and private sale, we've raised about 3.7, and we should have a private investment actually coming in today. So we should reach 4 million mark today, and over 4 million actually. And we plan to hit the soft cap is 5 million. That's what we require in order to have a minimum kind of working around this minimum. We can achieve everything where we stand out to, not everything, but in a slower time, and we can incorporate less of what we kind of promise. But at the same time, we can do a lot with that 5 million. So it's not a small amount of money. 5 million is a lot of money. And we have a hard cap, obviously 10 times that. It's much larger. But of course, we want to incorporate a lot more. So we have kind of 3 co-founders in different areas, and we want to implement an office in each of those areas. So in the US, in the beginning anyways, we would expand to other areas afterwards. US, Norway, and where I'm based in Norway, and also in Netherlands. Those are the 3 places that we're looking at. And also we want to incorporate different blockchains and different technology onto our platform. So we don't want to be just an Ethereum-based token. Of course, and that's going to be that's going to be the initial concept, and that's how we're going to build our platform, because Ethereum's the most reliable platform. It's been the most tested, even though it has its downsides. No one can question Ethereum's been tested, and it still lived through all that criticism, right? And eventually, what we want to do is incorporate different blockchains or side chains, including NEM, NEO. Are the first ones we want to implement, and eventually, obviously, Tangle is the main one we want to implement down the road. Tangle technology hasn't been realized yet, but once it does become realized, we're going to definitely be focusing on that as one of our main side chains. So in terms of pre-sale, we're kind of looking at, we're close to our soft cap, and once we reach our soft cap, we're able to kind of focus a little bit more on the marketing. We've been actually focusing a lot more on development right now. We have our MVP for distributed storage out, but we're trying to work we're actually going to complete our MVP for distributed processing this month. And we're going to have a ready product in terms of distributed storage in July or August latest. And it's going to be ready before the token sale is even over. So you'll be able to use the tokens for storage purposes right after the ICO. And we plan to kind of incorporate the processing part in November. So it's not too far off in terms of product development. And obviously with more money, more contributions, we'll be able to kind of do a lot more marketing, a lot more education, because blockchain, of course, is a very steep learning curve, as you know, and it takes a lot of education, a lot of time spent to kind of understand the whole concept of it. And a lot of the sales pitch in terms of cloud computing has to incorporate some kind of education to these SMEs in order for them to kind of go to market plan and try to convince them to kind of switch over to their plan. But I think in the beginning, we're going to focus mostly on, in terms of go-to-market plan, the decentralized space, the decentralized projects, because they're already educated on this field, and it'll be easier to implement them. And also AI startups. AI startups pay up to upwards of $1 million USD to AWS. So if we cut that cost down to 80%, I'm sure they'll be happy to come on board just for the startup phase. And if they like the cooperation, they can kind of go further with us as well. So in terms of pre-sale, that's where we're at, and like the kind of what stage we are in development, and what the process is going forward.
That was my question.
Yeah,
that was actually the little one. Next question is like, what's the current stage right now? So the pre-sale is the current stage. Right. So let's take a quick look and check it out your video that you have, so it can explain us, and we can visualize and see all things that you presented, and come back right after that.
Okay.
Blockchain technology shocked the world by creating an immense wave of investment opportunity. A true revolution has started as the ever-growing amount of data generates an ever-increasing demand for cutting-edge artificial intelligence. To stay ahead of the curve, we'll need a supercomputer larger than anything ever seen before. One that can provide the processing power and storage we need, and that doesn't carry the high costs set by the cloud service powerhouses. Introducing Iagon, a decentralized solution that turns computer resources into a powerful supercomputing grid. You can sell your untapped processing power and storage at any time and from anywhere, and even use your business's resources and data centers in the same way. Your devices become nodes in a massive network, all merged into a gigantic machine, one that can house the world's demand for complex AI and big data. Iagon is fully secure and uses the latest encryption methods, carrying out processing tasks for users, slicing, copying, and distributing users' files across the network, anonymously and in an instant. In return for computing resources, you'll get tokens, a currency which will grow in value as demand grows. They can be sold to organizations and institutes, or exchanged to complete complex tasks and store data in bulk at a fair price. This is just the beginning of something bigger. It's time to ride the waves of Iagon and let your computer resources take us all into the future. Iagon, we revolutionize the cloud. Join the revolution.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back. My name is Kirill Lutsenko. I'm talking today with Navjit Dahal, and he is CEO of Iagon. So we're talking about this project, and we're talking about actually decentralized cloud service optimized by artificial intelligence. So, Navjit, tell us more about team. What's the team? What's the companies behind your team? I saw in your website right now, www.iagon.com. I see the really big companies behind your advisors, and your team is really interesting to know more about it.
Yeah, so I'll start with kind of our, let's start with our advisors first and why we picked our advisors. So we have our two kind of more technical advisors that we kind of work with closely are Dr. Rohit Gupta and Dr. Yogesh Malhotra. So Dr. Rohit Gupta, actually, he's one of the pioneers in cloud computing. He actually wrote one of his theses on cloud computing in 2005, and well before blockchain technology was out. And he actually couldn't find a way to incentivize the miner. Of course, there was not the token metric tokens around back then, and he kind of put that idea aside, and he started working on other things. And while again we touched base again with him, and he kind of rekindled some of his passion back in the day, and he was very interested and very intrigued to kind of work with us. And right now, he knows all the steps to get to where we want to go. And what we want to achieve, and he can kind of cut down our roadmap a lot, and he can move it a lot faster than we would have done with anyone else, because he knows exactly how to get there. He's done everything already. And the other one is Dr. Yogesh Malhotra. He's actually a renowned researcher, AI researcher, and he's a machine learning advisor on our team. He has a very broad background. He's worked with some of the top firms like Microsoft, Google, IBM, Intel. He's worked with a lot of key players, and he's working on terms of what algorithms to implement, and also in terms of mathematics and stuff. He's advising us on that. We also have other kind of advisors on board for different kind of purposes. In terms of, for example, Jason North, he's helping us in terms of investment relations and business development, and how to kind of connecting us and networking us. We have also David Drake on and doing the same kind of purposeful things. And we also have two cybersecurity kind of experts, Dr. Nizar Zaidenberg. He's from Israel. He's from where Alad is from, our CEO. So our CEO knows him well. And also we have Dan Litwak, who's also from Israel. And he's from Hawk Cybersecurity, and he's actually helping us kind of make sure everything on our website is secure and that the user experience is flawless. And other advisors that we have, prominent advisors that we have on our board are one of the CEO from Everpedia, Suchet, and he's actually in Norway as well. And also we have Sam. Sam has been a great advisor as well. He's hands-on person in terms of helping us kind of the daily operations, and how he's been in the space for a while, and he's showing us, he's worked with other ICOs, so he knows the flaws and how to avoid those flaws as well. We have other advisors that we've been working with. These are the ones kind of we're most closely associated with at this moment. Of course, there's the ICO bench experts that we've been also closely working with. They've been networking us a lot. They've been helping us get a lot of attention in the space, a lot of exposure. A lot of people are kind of, they're sharing kind of our articles and very interested in a project and talking to other people. So they're doing a lot in terms of exposure. We're getting a lot of exposure when we hired Vladimir and Nikolai and Sam as well onto our advisory board. So that's kind of our advisory board in a summary and whatnot. And next we'll kind of talk about our team. So our team is CTO Claudio, Dr. Claudio Lima. He's actually a very smart person. He's one of the kind of he's worked on a smart grid in the U.S. and he currently advises a lot of entrepreneurs and also SMEs and C-level people in regards to how blockchain actually works. And he's kind of the main lead in terms of architecture right now. But the chief architect, of course, is Dr. Alad Harrison. He's kind of the one that helped me mold the idea into what Iagon is today. And he's been very helpful, influential in terms of writing the white paper the business plan. He's been very helpful on that. And the rest of the team, of course, we have outsourcing. So a lot of people have worries about this in terms of why are we outsourcing? Why aren't we using an in-house team? The problem is that I'm here in Norway, and that's where the company was established. So in Norway, it's very expensive to have an in-house team. We don't have the funds at this moment to kind of fund that. So the best option for us was to find a good solution that also was reputable in terms of their company. So we hired Jit on board in November and in November last year, and they've been doing a great job. They have 7 offices worldwide, and all over the world, and they're doing a great job in terms of development. They can ask for more from them. They're working 24/7 around the clock. One of our project leads, Vishal, he's working out of his mind. Probably the second hardest worker on our team in terms of amount of work. And we wouldn't trade that for anything in terms of it, but it does save us a lot of costs in the beginning. But eventually what we want to do after ICO, once we get enough contribution, we want to get an in-house team, at least in Norway. If we don't have enough, if we don't get enough contributions to have an in-house team in 3 offices, we'll have just one in Norway at least. But for now, we're focusing on just Winjit as kind of our main development team for development, and they've been doing a great job. And Rohit and Claudio and Alad, they've been guiding them all along, so they haven't had any problems with that, and they've been helping them in terms of development as well. So that's a little bit about our team. Of course, I can't forget about the community managers. They'll kind of shout at me if I don't mention them. They've been doing a lot of work as well, constantly writing articles. If all the any kind of situation that we have with different users or whatnot, they're responding to tickets, emails, and whatnot. A lot of work to do there. So we have a community manager group of 5: Rose, Eva, Ingrid, Pavel, and Darko. They're all doing a great job, and that's kind of our team right now in terms of the main team. There are other team members as well that are doing a little bit of work here and there, but that's kind of our main team right there in terms of development and the C-level teams and the advisors.
That's pretty big team, by the way. Even if some of them not in-house, there's still pretty big number of people here. And actually, for me personal, and I am pretty sure for our community, it will be interesting to talk with your advisors, with your STO, CTO, I mean, and CEO, because it's will be. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of questions we can ask them, and they will describe your project in different levels. So
of course, they can take it to a very technical level, a lot more technical than me, so they can definitely get deep into that, and only the technical people will be able to understand what's going on.
That's exactly what we want to know about it. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you will have any questions, please feel free to ask us during online interview, or maybe you can ask the question in a Telegram, Facebook, any channels that Iagon have, or maybe you can ask us in our channel. So we refer your question to Iagon, and of course we will be in touch. So just probably the last one question. I just wanna really know, and I'm really curious, how do you get this idea? Why you decide to develop exactly this project? Why you how it's happened? What's happened with you in your life when you just make this decision? Okay, I want to develop this big project. I want to change the world, or wherever you think.
I don't know what kind. I'm actually, just to tell you a background history. In high school, actually, I was a programmer, so I did C++. It has nothing to do with blockchain technology, but it's just kind of a passion of mine in terms of technology. Technology, I'm a huge passion. I'm kind of a nerd at heart, so it's I'm very kind of passionate about new things and innovative things. When I started researching more about blockchain and Bitcoin in 2012, I was kind of first a skeptic like anyone else. Is this fake? Is this something, a scam? What is this? Virtual money? What is that? But as you read more and more into what it is, you become a little bit more interested. And for me, it ignited a passion from the past. But me being from an Indian background, because my parents are from an Indian background, they kind of pushed me into the medical field, because usually that's how it is in Indian families. It's either medicine or being a lawyer. I don't regret that at all. But in terms of, that's why it's kind of ignited a passion in terms of my high school kind of work, and in terms of programming. I used to do a lot of programming then. And also, when I started reading more about blockchain technology, I became a lot more interested. And then I invested first in my first Bitcoin in 2014. Once I started doing more market research, I started doing what kind of ideas are out there. New ideas were coming, and new ICOs were coming. And I was like, hey, this, it's possible to start a very nice company and start a very innovative idea here. There's a lot of room for being a pioneer in the space, And in 2015 is when I first started beginning the idea of Iagon, in terms of, again, like securing health records. Because being from the health department, I was just focused on health. I wasn't thinking more of a broad idea at the moment. But I was just mainly focused on blockchain technology, using blockchain technology to secure medical health files in Norway only. So I wasn't expanding to worldwide, or storing different types of files. But as the idea didn't really pan out then, because I had a lot of stuff going on. I was starting a new business, and I had a new daughter in 2015. So it was a lot of work being a father as well. So everything had to kind of delay. And then in 2017, I had a little bit more time. And of course, my wife had a little bit more time. She's been great throughout this whole process. And she's and working hard with the kids and kind of yelling at me as well. But 2017, I started developing the idea a little bit more with a lad. And a lad kind of emphasized that, we shouldn't narrow it down. You should expand it. And that I was, I'm kind of amazed by what he said. And after that, we just kind of had a lot of ideas here and there. And the reason why we went down this path is mainly because we thought it was a very innovative idea. And also that everyone that we talked to in the space, and especially people that are experts in the space, comment on us. And that motivates us more than anything. That motivated me more than anything, because when you hear comments from like people that have been working years in the space, not in terms of blockchain technology, but in terms of mathematicians and cryptographers and different kind of fields, AI specialists, and they were all they're like, oh wow, this is a great idea. You should definitely work on this, right? And we got a lot of positive feedback, and once we got that positive feedback, it motivated me even more. And it drove the project to where it is now, and the motivation still continues, because we still hear a lot of great feedback from everyone as well.
I see. Just want to comment back real quick, and I'm again in your site, in your page, and I take a look in your roadmap. Could you please describe in a couple words your roadmap right now? You're in pre-sale, and after it's going to be crowdfunding.
Yeah. So after this, the ICO, and the ICO is going to start in July, and then we're going to have also our decentralized storage platform ready in the month after that, in July or August, and also decentralized processing, which is going to be ready in November. And we have the DApps that's going to be ready in decentralized apps that's going to be ready in 2019 Q1. And also that's when we're going to be launching our mainnet as well. So the mainnet's going to be in Q1 2019, but that's what we have stipulated from the beginning. That's before we hired all these advisors and all these other people on the board. So not to say that it's going to be fast track, but we're optimistic. And we want to be sticking to the current roadmap, but again, we could exceed that if time allows us. if we keep on going the current route we're going, I think we would kind of fast track the mainnet as well. Yeah, so that's where we're at right now. We're also in the process of launching a great competition referral. It's going to be very unique, probably the first of its kind in this space. And it's going to be very exciting for everyone. So you guys stay in tune for that. The news is going to come in at the end of this week or beginning of next week. It's going to be a great competition referral system. So based on points, you'll get different prizes, and we have a lot of prizes available, and everyone's going to be excited for it. So stay in tune for that as well.
Okay. All right. So the last one question, I really, really love to ask this question because it's about the future. So let's turn on our imagination right now and just imagine the same morning that we have every day right now, but 6 years from now. So you open your eyes in the morning and what the world is about. What do you achieve? What do you see?
In terms of Iagon and the world in general?
Both.
Both. Okay. Yeah, that's a difficult question. But in terms of Iagon, let's start with Iagon first. In terms of Iagon, we want to be the leaders in the decentralized cloud computing, first and foremost. And of course, it's going to take us a long time to be really competitive in the centralized space in terms of competing with AWS or Google Cloud, these kind of big companies. They have billions and billions of dollars to compete with anyone. So they can lose a lot of money before they even lose, But we want to compete against them down the road, especially. We hope that once blockchain technology becomes mainstream and adopted, that everyone else will follow. So, of course, any one of us that succeed in this space, be it Bitcoin, whoever goes mainstream first, the rest will follow. And once that happens, we want to be at the lead of decentralized cloud computing in that space at that time when that happens. So that's where we want to be at. And if we are at the lead, we have an advantage over the rest in terms of competing with the other solutions that are already giants out there, like AWS and Google Cloud and IBM, Microsoft Azure. These kind of people we want to compete with at the end, of course. So that's in terms of Iagon. In terms of general, what I see the world now, of course, I see the world moving to a more decentralized fashion, and I feel like it's going to be mainstream soon. Mainstream, there's no stopping blockchain technology. Of course, there's more innovative kind of technologies coming out, like Tangle, that might surpass blockchain technology. Also, there's a new one called Radix that also could compete with even blockchain and Tangle. So there's a lot of new innovative technologies that might come to fruition. I think blockchain is just the beginning. There's going to be coming to the space, and we'll see a lot of different technologies other than blockchain come to fruition as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Navjit, for all this information. Today in our PRE-ICO store, we are talking about decentralized cloud service optimized by artificial intelligence. And my guest today was the CEO at Iagon, Navjit Dadewal. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, feel free to ask any questions if you want to know about the project, the technical part. Just make your own decision and stay with us. Thank you very much today, Navjit. My big pleasure to see you.
Thank you much for having me, and it was a great pleasure talking to you. And looking forward to maybe another interview with us, our CEO and CTO. If you guys want to check out any of our, make sure to go through our website, www.iagon.com. We have a lot of information there, a lot of papers, and feel free to kind of link through our Telegram. We're always available, or send us an email or chat message on our website. We'll try to do our best to answer your questions.
That's just amazing. I love it. So then more you learn, then more you know, then more you secure. And yes, that's what blockchain is about. Thank you very much again. Thank you very much.
Okay, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.